All right, a very good afternoon to everybody who was watching Evolve Talks. I'm back again, and as I promised, that in Evolve Talk discussions, we'll bring on people from different areas of life and ask them relative questions related to current situation and as well as current environment right now. So I'm very, very lucky, as promised today, that we are extremely honored to have with us today Ms. Margo Abdulaziz. Before I ask her to give her input, there's a brief introduction about her. Ms. Margo Abdulaziz is the director of the International School of Choueifat, Lahore. Many of you are already familiar with her and her academic excellence and the experience that she brings in about education. She'll be talking today on the future of academic world. A brief introduction. She's a member of the SABIS Network, an internationally a global educational organization which is present actually in 5 continents in 20 countries and with more than 55 schools and over 70,000 students. Ms. Margo Abdulaziz has been in Pakistan for the last 10 years, and I'm pretty sure she knows about Pakistan education system from a bird's eye point of view and as well as deep insight. And before that, she has worked in the field of management and education in United States, the Middle East, North Africa. She holds a master's degree in business administration and quality management. At present, she's enrolled in Executive MBA program at Harvard University as well, and always learning. A great inspiration. Welcome, Margo.
It is a pleasure. Thank you, Daniel, for giving me this opportunity to be on your program. And because today is also a very special day, please let me give the best wishes for Ramadan, for the holy month, for all of you, for the peaceful, safe Ramadan Kareem.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Margo. It's always a great inspiration to talk to you and know about how the education is going to be. International School of Choueifat is one of the best schools of Pakistan and has been doing pretty well. So let's come towards lockdown, by the way. How it is coming along for you, by the way? How's the lockdown coming along?
Well, it is definitely a life experience because I've never been in the self-isolation for almost 7 weeks now, together with my 3 other expatriate colleagues. I've never had the opportunity, a chance to lead the school, to run the school, entire school from the both academic, in academic terms, as well as management and administration, totally online from my own apartment. But I have to tell you, it is exciting. I'm very busy. I'm learning a lot. And I think, this could be for me one of the lockdown might be one of the most important learning experiences in life.
And that's absolutely and it's not only experience for everyone, but it is something which nobody expected. So lockdown for how long? What is your daily routine like? We would like to know how does Margo spend a day nowadays?
Well, very busy. The one thing which I'm missing is the face-to-face interaction with my students. This one, unfortunately, it's very limited. And if it happens through the, obviously, through the digital platform. So that's a minus, if you can say it. My daily routine is almost identical, except the social part or attending the events in the evening is almost identical like any other day, any other school day. I get up almost the same time. I prepare myself like I'm going to school, dressing, makeup, all of this breakfast. And then I start calling my IT team because, they're going to be starting a day at 9 o'clock with the connecting the teachers and the classrooms for the regular normal working day. Then I get on my computer, I observe the classes, I interact with my senior management team, I respond to the questions of students, parents, regional office. All of this takes time, usually at least until 4 or 5 p.m. And the rest of it, if you think that it's just, I can relax, it is not, because I have the place I live in. So I start to take care of it. I start cleaning, I start making sure that everything is there, preparing some of my foods, very simple. I'm not very good cook, so I have the staff which helps me with that. Then another set of the emails. This is also the time, and I maybe mention it also later on, talking about the news. I usually spend about 10-15 minutes looking at the news of the networks, including Pakistani PTV World,
Wow.
BBC, CNN, Al Jazeera. But just for a few minutes, to get more or less idea what's going on.
But a lot of people are saying, before I come up on the topic, a lot of people are saying, if you spend a bit of time in media and watch few channels, you might get into a depression as well. So is that the case?
Correct. That's why my time is limited, and my advice, it was one of the advice to stay positive, is please, as much as possible, please do avoid media information overload. Stop watching them a few times per day or having them on all day. Let it be the Pakistani media or the foreign media. Remember, the media's role is the headlines, okay? I'm not saying that the headlines are bad, but they usually involve a lot of stress and anxiety, and maybe even, very negative feelings of worry. Try to make it to the minimum. My advice is few minutes in the morning, few minutes in the evening. If you can do it once a day, as I'm doing it, even better.
Wonderful. That's something, right, Margo? So you are a complete a machine. You work day and night. You are running an institution. You are connected socially pretty well as well. So I would like to start off with a question, a brief insight about International School of Choueifat. We all know about it. How is International School of Choueifat is spread for all the viewers out there? When I want my son to be, going into schools, I went to different schools, and there was nothing better than the International School of Choueifat, which we were about to start and thinking, but this lockdown happened. So a brief about International School of Choueifat. Everybody knows about it. How much is it spread right now? What is the number of students? How it is coming along? A brief about International School of Choueifat.
Talking about your son and the possibility of bringing to school, please still do it. We will very soon have the registrations and applications online. With also live input from principals, from myself, and from the admission. We will be available. It's not going to be just a piece of paper to fill out. Anyone with any question will be available at any time. Our school is in Pakistan for 27 years, and I'm extremely, extremely proud of that we have such a long continuation. And despite that we are one school, we have quite an impact on the development of the country, because many of graduates over those 26, the 27 is now coming, 26-year graduates are in very important positions, either in the private sector or in the public sector, including politicians, in the government, lawyers, journalists, of course, the businessmen, people in sciences, the scientists, teachers at the university. One of our students is running university, University of Technology and Management. So we are very proud of that. Currently, we have a little bit more than 900 students, because there was a lot of movement at the beginning of the of the pandemic that some of the parents started to leave the country, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But hopefully they will be back to us soon. We are international network, so we are the body which is very much different from other schools. We run international SABIS curriculum. We have our own exams. We provide, of course, also external exams, both American and the British educational boards as well. We are accredited school. What it internationally? What it means, our diploma is recognized all over, the high school diploma, all over the world, but we also have the standards, a very strict standards, educational, administrative management, providing of the resources which we have to fulfill to make sure that this international recognition of the school is kept in place. But it's a wonderful.
That's wonderful.
There is a lot of fun.
That's
a lot of activities, not only classroom work.
Right. For all the viewers as well, ISC, I've been there. It comes as one of the best schools of Pakistan. There's so many politicians, families, and successful people who have graduated from there. Margo, coming towards the cover dog time, future of academic world, is it going to be changed or it's going to be same? How it is going to be? So what do you think? How would be the future of academic world?
Daniyal, I think, the whole world will change. The whole world will not be the same. So obviously the education will evolve as well. I have my own personal theory, so if you allow me to share it, I would like that, because I feel very passionate about it, actually. And it is based on the experience of SABIS, of my organization. We were in a way preparing for the changes in education when it comes to the use of educational technology for a number of years. And we were doing it very well. So when the lockdown, when the pandemic happened, and there was a need for the continuing education, we sort of very smoothly made one step ahead, and we were there. Of course, we will be evolving, we will be developing. This is not the end of it, but we are definitely in much stronger and better situation than the other schools who have to use, more of the international educational platforms like Google Classroom, and whatever else must be there. We have our own platform, which has been over the years developed with Microsoft. Okay, so we are the Microsoft partner. Okay, and this is an excellent platform, absolutely excellent platform. So So let's say, first thing, when we're talking about the changes, I think we have to prepare ourselves with the way we think and the way we are working, that it's gonna take time. Covid-19 is unfortunately not gonna disappear in June, July, or August. We know what the scientists are saying. We know also that the scientists are working very, very hard and very fast, on making us immune, or at least able to resume some of the resemblance of life together, not life being isolated and separated. So I see it as a transition. The next year probably will be the first step when there will be a mix of face-to-face, very small group, probably all the classes, like high school, not the younger children, that part of the schooling will be happening in the school, maybe for a few hours, for the certain period of time. The rest will be online. What will be online definitely will be the things like the project work, like assignments, like additional academic help for the students who need this help, like peer tutoring or maybe study groups. I think those things will stay. Now, 2021 comes and more, I think it will be more relaxations, but I see the education in majority of the countries, including developing countries, eventually in the not so distant future, going into the virtual classrooms. But different virtual classrooms that we may have at the moment with the pandemic. I would like to see a small studios in the classroom, the teacher actually using the resources in the classroom, including the tablets with the ebooks and interactive boards, all those smart TVs, which use, but it is in the school, and the students are in at their homes, and more at the moment because of period of time. At that time, they will be more trained, more psychologically prepared for this kind of the interaction. But again, at one point, what I would like to see in the schools, not only, remember, the school is not only the place for learning. Of course, this is our major role and responsibility, but it's also social networking place. So some kind of activities, extracurricular activities, sport, maybe entertainment, social responsibility. I would hope that not so distant future will still be able to do it as a people together, as a group together, not only because we can do those also online, but that will mean also a separation. We need human to human contact to be restored, but in a different way that we used to be.
Agreed. Now, so there's so many questions bombarded already, so I will have discussions and as well as some of the questions that I will pick up so that you can answer those. We have a question from Sayyid Abdullah Hassan. He asks, can we adopt online education system on a much bigger level in Pakistan after the pandemic ends? Or do you think the online system will vanish? I don't know whether the first question is pandemic will end or not. That's the question that will be a part of our lives. Or do you think the online system on a much bigger scale? What do you think?
Gradually. In Pakistan, it's not because there is no understanding that it's needed, that there is no will of the leadership of the country to do that. But we have to look at what we can and what kind of resources do we have and what kind of priorities we're gonna do. First thing which will need to happen is that education really, in the real terms, needs to become the priority for the government. Okay? But we're also a very big country. So we have to build, and it's very costly, we have to build an infrastructure for the online learning. So the e-learning is not for selected or what it's sometimes called privileged group of students, but for every single child in this country. We need infrastructure for that. With the infrastructure in place, we need teachers who will be trained to use this infrastructure for online learning. Online learning is different than a classroom instruction because you do have to have not only on the basic level, but at least on the intermediate level, technical skills, because you have to do many of the troubleshooting yourself.
Agree.
But
the problem solving, the troubleshooting, as the teachers would help, that could be an issue in e-learning. That what do you think?
Definitely, absolutely. That will be the major thing, because who will be delivering the e-learning? It will be the teacher who is both, of course, professional experience in the subject, but also knows how to use the online tool for the delivery of that content.
And that's a very, very important concept as well.
If I may finish to the question, please be optimistic. I think by the time the pandemic, COVID-19 is over and we are safe, I think, because the government is already working on it, I think the things will be ready and moving here in Pakistan. I will be very optimistic.
Right, being optimistic. Now we have a very related question as well because of the uncertainties which are prevailing. The question is from Aman. What are your thoughts on the March SAT being cancelled? Now, students are worried, of course. Will it affect students or college board plans to reschedule in time? Exams, no exams. What do you think? SAT cancelling, uncertainty prevailing. What are your thoughts upon it?
Uh, there were three parts on which I will answer this question.
Yeah.
SAT 1, SAT 1 or SAT 2 are only cancelled at the moment,
Yeah.
until August. There is already planned by the college board to have the SAT exam at the end of August, and definitely, almost definitely, I'm sure I should not say that definitely, almost definitely in September, which was never happening. As you know it, the SAT exams usually start in October. Okay, this year plan is different. So there is a possibility, a real possibility to have the SAT exams. Okay. Number two aspect. Many universities, particularly in the United States, and I hope here in Pakistan, will be making the admission without looking at the SAT, without the SAT.
All right.
If the student, so some students will have the SAT, some of them will not. The students we have already from College Board signal that the universities will be flexible and will be supportive this academic year. Will be supportive of the students. The third one, which of course isn't working, but there are already universities. That's why if you are grade 12 student, I would ask you also to check the universities to which you apply this year. Many universities, and this is an increased number, it is a trend. They do not require SAT 1. They may require SAT 2, but not SAT 1.
Not SAT 1. I hope that answers your question as well. Now, a very, very important question, and something which I think you are the best one to ask. With human connection not available, when human touch and human intervention, parents play a very, very important role. I'm sure over the years you have seen, you have dealt with many parents. You know the parenting issues when it comes to handling students' education. How has the parenting changed, and how much important it is parenting in COVID lockdown? What do you think? How the parents should be acting in current situation?
Well, I don't know if this is a good or bad news, but remember,
I'm pretty sure. Sorry to cut you, but when parents have to spend so much time with the kids, they give salute to teachers like Margo and others as well. I think I'm pretty sure.
Finally, listen. We used to have a situation until March, of this year, that students, smaller ones, little ones, and definitely the older ones, middle school and high school, they used to spend more time in the school than at home. So we were, I always called myself, a foster mother, because, the moment they came to school, we'll take them over in every single aspect, from the academics, but from the little things even. Did you eat your lunch? Do you have enough water, to take it to the classroom? You may need it because it's hot, I mean, big things to tiny little things. Now, this kind of balance is totally gone because we can't, the moment the online is ending, we don't have really direct contact with the students any longer. Yes, they can send us the question. There's all academic mostly. Remember, what I miss a lot is my students coming to me because to me it was like a badge of honor, because they had such a trust in me that when they were coming to me and asking personal questions and advice, seeking an advice, I miss it. It's no longer there. All of this now is on the parents, including making sure that they attend the classes regularly on time. So, they have to be in charge almost every day. Make sure that they do assignments. They make sure that they work on the activities. And on the top of all of this, there is also sort of, we call it at home free time. You can't leave your child by yourself. You have to have the interaction, do something as a family, do something as a mother or a father, directly with your child. Look for a different activities, search the web maybe for things which are both fun but also learning. There's a lot of resources out there, and we're trying. ISC Lahore is trying to help the parents with that. Our teachers are developing fun activities, and the kids are doing them either during the week or during the weekend. We're also directing parents into the resources when the children can read, when they can get the additional fun activities and games, but not the games like this, the real games which are enjoyable, but they learn. So the things like Britannica Online, for example, a huge, wonderful resource with this. We're trying to help the parents with that. But the truth is, the parents now have to be the parents 100%. And I know this is not easy because it was different. We were partners, we were helping more for the parents to do that. But now more of the weight of that is on the parents. But again, I can only address my parents and encourage parents of the other schools, reach out to us. We are available. You have the question, send us the email. We can come online. You can call us. Why not?
I think what's a very related question is parents, parenting, as I said in the early part of the question as well, hats off and salute. I'm sure all the parents would be giving it to the teachers and acknowledging. But as parents, we are so used to our lives not giving a proper time to the kids. When it has come to us right now, we are finding it difficult. Is it right?
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. We have to become much more engaged parents. We have to, but then look at the positive. The more you engage with your child, the better you know your child. You build a bond, you build a trust for the rest of your life. It's such a positive thing.
I absolutely agree that it is something which is difficult. Now we are bringing in some guests as well. So for some questions, I think we have been joined by one of the students as well, Amna. Amna, you are live right now, and you have an opportunity to ask question to Margo. Please introduce yourself and share your thoughts and ask question.
Nice to see you, Amna.
I hope you are doing great.
Yes,
I just wanted to ask what are your thoughts on Cambridge giving out predicted grades? Will it be unfair for students whose real potential will not be reflected on their grades, and they have to stick with it for the rest of their lives for their admissions in colleges and universities?
Listen, Amna, you ask a very ethical question. Very ethical question, okay? You have to trust that academic faculty in your school, in any school, in my school, and I have to be the one who makes sure that it's actually happening, okay? That there is a fair evaluation of the student based on based on the results of the exams. Remember, we did have 2 terms. There's a lot of work, a lot of examination, available. That we look also at the classroom participation. We look also at the attendance of the student, coming regularly, or not so. Okay. The predicted grade, of course, the first person, at least in my school, of course, it's a teacher. But it's not only a teacher. Then it goes to the principal, who observes the classrooms, who knows the students, who knows the teacher, who knows the delivery of the teacher. My principals, every teacher, they have to observe at least 2 to 3 times per term. They know very well what's going on. I go to the classrooms as a principal, okay? And we also will look at that, not only maybe this year, but we will look also a year before, what is the trend of the student, okay? To make a fair assessment, and then get the predicted grade. And hopefully, I think, this is not the first time we've done that, not in my school. We've done it, one time when the schools were closed before the end of the academic year, and we could not have the end of the year exams. We've done it, and we've done it very well. And keeping in mind that we have to do it as the protection and the benefit of the student, okay?
Yes.
Yeah, but my related question, Margo, to what Amna has asked as well. Let's say if suppose the situation worsens and you have to be judged based upon your previous records and everything, the future holds on this particular exam as well. Somebody would have been ill before, somebody could have been. So all these external factors, how would they be factored in? Now that's very important as well.
Well, listen, if we definitely, if we talk, the 2 things come to my mind because they do happen in my school. Extensive absence from school because of sickness. Okay. Definitely, that's going to be taken under consideration. Another thing under consideration is that, of course, there are older students, but still, this is important. They going for Umrah, for the religious observance, and they missing the school, and that's going to be taken under consideration as well.
Yeah, so I hope so that that answers. Amna, I hope your questions have been answered.
Yes.
I'm
Thank
sure
you so much.
Thank you.
Your teachers will do amazing job, the same as my teachers, knowing the circumstances. You have to, the same like in the external exams, like in AP exams or IGCSE or O levels. Examination boards also are giving a credit to the students, trying to make the above the exams and the evaluation of for the students on a little bit less stern criteria that it used to be.
Right. Thank you very much, Amna, for joining in the show.
Thank you, Amna, and good luck.
Yeah. Now, Margo, a very, very important question, and right now a lot of people are talking about it, and I would like to have it flashed on the screen as well. How to remain positive. Now, I have met guys, and I mean it for everybody who's following Evolve. I have met so many people related to education. I'm a son of an educationist. My father was a professor, so I keep on meeting educationists, but I've never met anyone more vibrant, more energetic, and more dynamic as Margo. We would like to know one thing: how Margo remains always this dynamic, this energetic, this positive. And number one, might have seen people half of your age, but do not have the same energy that you bring in. How do you remain so positive, so energetic, so smiling, and how others should remain same way positive? Please tell the secret ingredient to us.
Well, if you allow me, it will be a few things. Okay.
Yeah.
Number one, and I already mentioned, I'm making sure that I'm not overloaded with the information by the mass media and social media. Okay. I do not get, sort of very much attached to the Facebook, to Instagram or this kind of thing. I go through that, and to be honest with you, from the moment I see the topic, the title, the word, which suggests something negative, I'm sorry, I miss it. I just go through. I don't look at it at all.
Forward.
Not at all. Not at all. Okay.
Yeah.
There is so much of positive things going on that these are the ones we should be, not only getting ourselves, but repeating it to others. Okay. Another thing is I keep a routine. I keep the same routine as I was going every day to the school. It means also that I dress up like I'm going to school, and I put a makeup on. Okay, I make sure my hair is almost the same. So maybe I will get a compliment from someone. Okay, you're looking good. I like the color you're wearing. I'm trying to keep it this way. I am not in my pajamas or in my training suits every day. It's only when I do yoga, and then again I do yoga and exercises as part of my routine.
Okay.
And I was doing it before. It helps me a lot with that. When I am not working per se, 100% school-oriented work, I do a lot of research. I look at different things what are happening. I'm already looking of what kind of a courses, because my program, MBA program for this year, has been moved a year because we cannot have it face to face. So I'm looking at the courses online. Maybe I will take one or two, just for myself, to give something new for myself, to learn, and always also to interact with others. I also talk to my friends and to my family. Remember, being in isolation, all of us, on the social distance, it doesn't mean that we are alone or lonely. There are people there who, when we reach out, who will have a wonderful discussions. Okay, so I do also that. Another thing, the way I look at COVID-19, of course it is serious. There is no question about it. But I always repeat to myself, it's gonna end. The end is there, and every day brings us to that end. I trust that all those, what I learned, I think yesterday, there are all over the world, including in Pakistan, cooperated 80 groups of scientists. These are the best people we have. These are the people who are racing to make sure that they will help us to get over COVID-19, maybe in transitions and step by step leading to vaccine, but the hope is there. So why don't we trust them? And also, I guess someone at one time, it was one of my students during my 10, 11 years here who said it, and I remember it and try to do it in my life almost all the time. He said, "Miss, when you smile," it was my 9th grader. I was in the classroom. I was teaching them civics. He said, "Miss, when you smile, I feel better." So if I can make someone feel better smiling, definitely the first person will be myself.
And that's the secret that we have got today from Margo. That's how she's always smiling. No pajamas, even if you're at a lockdown at home. Dress up well, smile, wear your best dress. Is that right, Margo?
Have your
So
routine.
that's the way forward.
Reach out to the people, to the other people. Do the things you enjoy. You never had time to do them, but now you can enjoy. Find out new talents. I just find out that, I always thought, my goodness, I can't cook anything. I found out that I can. My first success was hard-boiled eggs, which I never did. I'm trying different now things. So, these are the things which help each one of us. I think many of people who are now watching it, or maybe inshallah will watch it later on, remember, you are very fortunate. Someone like myself, I am really by myself. I'm in a self-isolation. But you have the families. You have wife, you have husband, you have children, you have grandparents. My goodness, you bless. You can each one. You can create, for example, a tree of the family history, which will be so rich and so wonderful for generations to come.
Wonderful. We have also a comment from Zia as well. He's been listening from Northern Ireland. I think that's the place from the Nathan comes as well. So thank you very much, Zia, for being there. We got a question on the screen as well from Aman. What measures do educational institute take for the mental health of students in this situation? Now, students are at home, but are there any kind of activities you suggest for the mental health of the students? Every student is different, of course. So what do you think? What's the answer of this?
Well, my answer will be twofold. First of all, of course, we as a school, unfortunately, we lost opportunity to help students in their personal issues, with the mental health, with the teenagers, being confused and growing up, and knowing in which direction they should be moving. Unfortunately, this part is over, but there are some other ways. I already mentioned that as a school, we're already trying to create, to suggest activities or resources for the kids to stop, thinking about COVID-19. However, in my view, still the major role is on the home, and I would appeal to parents. When obviously it is normal that a mother and father, maybe grandparents, or maybe even uncle and auntie, as an extended family, talk about everyday problems, worries, and etc. You obviously need to do that. That's only a human thing. Could you please make sure that your children are not part of it? That it is not happening when they are around, okay, and they are part of this, of listening to this kind of discussions. Please protect them from that. And when you talk to your children in a positive language. Listen, yes, you're out of the school, but school will be back soon, probably by fall. In the moment, look, you are online. Look what fun it is. Look what you're learning. Also, encourage the children to use the online possibility, not only for the classroom, for the education, but also allow them, put the time they can interact with their friends. Remember, they losing the friendships. They losing their own peers. Allow them, in the small group or individually, to chat maybe for half an hour or so. So they talk about, if you see that your child may be a little bit anxious or stressed out, psychologists, they suggest one thing. Ask the question your child, what do you want to know about COVID-19? Let me tell you. Let's talk about it together. But let them be the initiators of the question, okay? That somehow will lower their anxiety and their stress, because they are worried. There is no question about it. Okay, and maybe a discussion like ours, learning how the schools will be grading, how the end of the academic year will look like, let them at ease, explain to them external exams, which are really gonna be conducted in a very professional but very supportive of the students way, knowing that the universities all over the world will be looking at the admissions in a very supportive way for the students as well, giving them the chance, understanding what they're going through, and understanding that they did not have the same opportunities as the students year before. And I think bringing all of those positives will lower anxiety and stress of many of the students.
Right. Very, very, very good thoughts, Margo. Since we're coming towards the last 15 minutes, now a very, very important element and a very controversial as well is social media. Because ultimately there is no control of social media. There's so much of a Netflixes, there's so much of a Facebooks, Instagrams, everything going across. Netflix, of course, is something else, but how much of a social media usage is okay for students, and how much is not okay for students? Or now that's part of our lives, we can't do anything. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a part of our life. And I would start, being a parent, I would start a dialogue, a discussion with my child. This is what we were doing in the school at ISC Lahore. We daily had this kind of a conversation, talking to the students in the not in the lecture type, more of a discussion type of what is positive on the internet and what might be very negative or simply dangerous for them. How to make a difference between that. What sides are appropriate for you and what are not appropriate, okay? And if you, for whatever reason, are contacted or by yourself, surfing, get into the site like this, get away from it, because it will make only problems for you and will not give you anything positive. So talking about, pros and cons of the social media and internet by itself. Talking what we were doing in the school, and now maybe parents can continue that. Student needs to understand that there is a lot of fake news, a lot of pretending on the social media, and we as educators and we as parents, we need to mainstream them into the sites which are both safe and reliable information. Okay, and this is what I would start with. The second part is, remember, we are the adults, we are the parents. Maybe not the right word is the control, but we have the influence, put it this way. We are ones deciding when and how to use the social media. So as a parent, I basically would say, okay, once you finish this, and this, why we had a family dinner or now family iftar, during the Ramadan, you have 1 hour for contact with your FaceTime with your friends, maybe play a game, or something like this. You put the parameters, what is allowed, but also from time to time, in a nice way, control if this is actually happening. Because, for example, I had a mother who was in a meeting with me at one point. She actually came to complain that ISC Lahore gives too many hours of the homework. And I was very surprised, because we don't do that. We actually don't even have homework per se at all. We have something else, We have revision, but not the homework. So I asked mother detailed questions. What are you talking about? And she said, well, my son spends 5 hours, doing homework online on internet, talking to the people. And I said, how do you know that he's doing this homework? As it turned out, he was locking up his bedroom. Do not allow the children to lock your bedrooms. They have no right for that. What you as a parent, to protect their privacy, you knock before you can enter. But you knock and you immediately open the door. Okay?
Yeah.
And then you can see what they actually doing. But putting the limits on how much time they can spend on the social media, it can be more during the weekend. You can be more flexible, particularly nowadays. Okay, but at the same time, come to the room maybe with a snack, maybe with a cup of tea, or lemonade or whatever, and at the same time. Don't come to the room. Don't come to the laptop and say, "Show me what are you doing." That's not gonna work. They're gonna be rebellious and they're gonna be hiding the things from you.
Because ultimately you're not gonna be always with them, monitoring what are they doing.
Absolutely. Make it more natural.
So I think
have the trust. Build.
Yeah, it's very wonderful advices. Now we have a question as well. After this, Neelam has this question. After this pandemic ends, how easy do you think will be for students to make up for this long gap and pick up where they left it? And what role the teachers and parents play to ease it? I don't know whether there will be a continuity or they will pick up from there. What do you think? How can the gap be covered?
It will all depend. I think, we have to, it will depend on the schools. I cannot speak about, I can only speak about my school. We're going through the program day by day as in the regular classroom. We're finishing.
So you mean online classes are taking place in ISC as a normal?
Yes. In ISC Lahore, the classes are the same classes according to the same schedule they used to have in the class, in the same sequence on the same days. Okay? With the same material. Yeah. They also do the quizzes, which at the same time show, how they're doing. So they and of course us, we can monitor them. Okay? So I don't think so. That in ISC Lahore, that would be an issue. With definitely, because not every student is the same, not every student is serious, may not practice at home more, for the students who may have those gaps, we're already working on it, and we already have a backup. In the even before the reopening of the school, we will have something which are gonna be called power session, and then we'll call them study session, which will be online support for those students, working with the teachers or with their peer, with the strong students, peer-to-peer help. So we'll have it both. It's gonna be run by the Student Life Organization, which is a very important part of support and leadership of the students in ISC Lahore. So we already, proactively, we're already putting as a resource, as a tool, which we will be using to help the students who may have the gaps.
Right, wonderful. Margo, a very important question is learning new skills, because we're coming towards the last 5 minutes. How about learning new skills? Any suggestions for students learning a language? How could somebody have more skills to it? Any idea?
Well, I think, they already learning new skills, how to interact online from your home with the teacher. Okay, it is a skill. because sometimes you have to mute yourself, sometimes you are muted by the teacher, sometimes you have to, because there are different ways, sometimes sometimes you have to choose to write a question to the teacher, and teacher answers is to the whole class. These are different ways of communicating with each other. So in a sense, the new skill we're already learning now is the language of technology, I would call it. I don't know, I just came up with this now. How the technology helps us and enhances our communication as a people. So I think this is the first thing which we're already learning. What other skills might be? Definitely something you always want to learn, and somehow you never had time for it, or maybe even you were too lazy and saying, oh no, I will not do it, maybe some other time. So look for something which maybe you want to have as a new talent, or impress someone with. I'm not gonna give the examples because for every person will be different. You're right, for some person maybe a language, but for somebody else it may be how to take the driving course online, for example. Okay. Adult simulators, for example, something like that. I want to do, and hopefully I will be able to do. I want to learn because to me it's fascinating and a little bit scary. Something about artificial intelligence. So Harvard is offering a course on artificial intelligence. This summer. I want to go, I want to see how those robots will help.
Robots. Yeah. So maybe learning how to cook or playing a guitar could be so many options.
Absolutely.
Now, since we're into the last few minutes, a very important topic which you always touch, and I absolutely love the ideas that you bring in, very realistic. The best part about Margo, for all the followers, are that she brings, of course, a vision, international vision, but she applies it locally. That's the best part, and you get answers of everything. Entrepreneurship, future of entrepreneurship in Pakistan after COVID-19. You speak a lot about business, new business startups, students coming in, new businesses evolving. COVID-19, how does the entrepreneurs look in the future?
My first sentence answer is entrepreneurship is the future. Okay. And this is what we should be aiming for a couple of reasons. One reason is, remember, it's a huge tragedy all over the world. People lost jobs. Those jobs either will disappear completely, or it will take a long time to get them back. That's number one. Number two is that the more and more younger generations coming to the workforce will not be able to get employment neither in the private sector nor in the public sector. So entrepreneurship is the possibility for all of the people, younger or older. Age does not matter. Okay, you might be 80 years old and you're gonna create a wonderful company of your own. Okay, so but for some countries it will be much more easier because they almost have or already reach entrepreneurship culture. We in Pakistan, we're building this culture. It's a wonderful way. However, we have a lot of challenges. We need the government with the policies and setting up the structure. We need legal frameworks for the entrepreneurs to function in, for their companies. We need banks and the taxation system, which will help the young people or the entrepreneurs in general to start their own businesses in that. And finally, which my organization, SABIS, is very successful in education, creating what is called private-public partnerships, PPPs. Why not take this model for the entrepreneurship, that the public and private sector join forces together and help the young people here, or the people who would like to start their own businesses, and make it as one of the way of doing so. Those incubation centers which we have, usually at the universities, at the private institutions, why not to include the government as well? And I think, then the whole trend and the employment for the actually workforce, which will be educated and trained in what they want to do, we will achieve in much shorter period of time.
Wonderful, wonderful. Margo, we're coming towards the last bit. First, before I thank you, I would like to take your final advice for people who are following. You're already a big social media and people follow you a lot. So your last bits of advice to youngsters and youth who are following. We had a great response today. So many followers are watching you today. What is the advice you would like to give to the youths out there?
Be strong, be positive, be adventurous, okay? The situations we're going through is not just negative. We will learn a lot. We will learn how to overcome challenges. And what I think, and particularly younger generations, but more older generations will definitely help you. The world we're gonna enter after the pandemic will be a different one, and it will be a better and a stronger one. Environment will be better. We as a human beings will be kinder to each other. Look what is happening now. Without this pandemic, this social responsibility was always, have to be pushed. Now, thousands of people in Pakistan coming together and helping each other. Believe it, that you gonna be the leaders of that better world, because this is what I am sure it's gonna happen.
Right. Thank you very much, Margo. I was absolutely thrilled with the wonderful discussion we had, and I am pretty sure this particular video will go, viral on media everywhere for the great insights how education is going to shape up in the future. I would like to especially thank you for your precious time today, Ms. Margo, on behalf of Evolve team.
Thank you very much. It was an honor for me to be part of your program, and I wish all of us, a safer, a better world, and a very peaceful month of Ramadan. And hopefully, maybe we can get together after the pandemic and see how what we talked about today, how did it apply or did not apply to the world we will be entering.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Ms. Margo.
Thank you.